Welcome to the Cloud Pod, where the forecast is always cloudy. We talk weekly about all things AWS, GCP, and Azure. We are your hosts,
Justin,
Jonathan,
Ryan,
and Episode Peter. 190, recorded the week before reInvent. Finally, a crowdsourced prediction show. Good evening, Ryan and Peter.
Hey.
For our special bonus episode. We got to clear the decks before reInvent because if we don't do that, the show is just brutally long. And we have predictions to make, again, to see how we do with our crystal balls, which are pretty fuzzy. And we'll talk about that, the rules of our competition here in a little bit and all that. But let's get to some news, get it off the plate so we don't have to talk about it after reInvent because we'll not care about any of these things by that point. First up, CDK for Terraform 0.14 makes it easier to use providers. Version 0.14 has several improvements to make the pre-built providers easier to use, including new provider upgrade command, select pre-built providers with initializing a new project, and more pre-built providers than ever before to make your CDK journey easier and faster.
I'm either going to have to stop being an old man that yells at cloud here and start learning how to use this, or develop a more solid opinion on why I'll never use this, because I'm so lost now on what this actually does anymore. CDK with Terraform support, is it generating the code? I don't know what's going on.
I mean, Python. You could write some Python CDK code and see how you like it.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. I mean, I in my head, I do two separate things. There's the code I write, and there's the Terraform templates that I write to support it. And it's all part of one project, and I consider it all one. And I don't really understand the whole CDK portion of this, but I think that's just, I think, old man at cloud yells at cloud.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
AWS news that they have dumped. This is the dumping ground for things that are not going to make a keynote. So sad. First up is now open AWS region in Spain, coming on the heels of Switzerland's Big Plus. The new AWS region in Spain has opened EU South-2. The region has 3 AZs and becomes, I believe, the 29th region because Switzerland was the 28th, and I can do math. The region is apparently located on the Iberian Peninsula. So if you're looking for more cloud providers in Spain, other than Barcelona, you now have this for yourselves.
Get some hamon.
Yeah.
Well, of course, AWS has security always at the top of mind, although there's been some suspectful things that have happened recently. And configuring MFA on your root account or your IAM account is an important step in securing your AWS organization. But always the Pexy thing was you can only have one of them. No longer. You can now add multiple MFA devices to your AWS account, root users and IAM users in your AWS account. This helps you raise the security bar in your account and limit access management to highly privileged principals such as root users. And previously, like I said, you only have one. Now you can have up to 8. Ooh. The use cases for this is, of course, recover in the event of a lost, stolen, or inaccessible MFA device. If you have geographically dispersed teams or teams working remotely, you can use hardware-based MFA to access AWS.
To solve the problem.
And if the holder of the MFA isn't available, you can still maintain access to root, and you can store additional MFA devices in physical locations such as a vault or safe, retaining physical access to another device for redundancy. And at this moment, Ryan, we have to mourn the death of our beloved pink iPod Touches.
The pink iPods, yeah. They're no longer a strict need for it.
Yeah, which about time, because when pandemic happened, the pink iPod rapidly fell out of favor because it was always at your house. So it was difficult to get to the root credentials that we needed. We had to text you and say, hey, we need the root number, and you'd then have to provide it to us, annoyingly enough.
I didn't mind that part of it. I minded having to go update all the compliance docs for how we managed secure access to say I managed it from my house.
Yeah. It made sense when it was in my locked desk drawer in my office that locked, and then it was in a locked closet in a different locked file cabinet. And then, now it's at my house and my children can get to it. It's not a great security control.
There was some creative wording.
Yeah, you just create the MFA, virtual MFA, and then you delete it off your device. And the only way to get in is to reset it.
Well, you got to go to support to do that. So that's really not always easy if you're in the middle of a crisis.
No, it's automated now. It's automated.
And there's a couple of those nitpicky things still.
You don't have to talk to them if you have access to the phone and the email. Automatic.
Yeah. But the virtual MFA, so when we first came with the pink iPod, I don't think Authy really existed yet. And then you wouldn't necessarily have an Authy account that you shared because you couldn't have multiple Authy accounts on a phone.
No, you just delete it.
But now you have options to do stuff. But yes, I agree. But this is still well needed and I'm so glad they're here.
I mean, yeah, when we set this up, they still called you by voice, and you had to validate.
Yeah, it took up to an hour.
Open a support case, and yeah, it would take forever.
And not only did it take up to an hour, there's like 10 things you needed to do with a root account that you couldn't do with an IAM account.
Yep.
Yeah, it was brutal back then. Back in the olden days.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyways, I love this. I'm so glad. Thank you, goodness. How did you update the encryption key unlock vault procedures for remote workers out of curiosity? Because you had the physical access cards, remember, to unlock the physical Vormetric HSM appliance? And you had to do it.
Oh my God. Horrendous.
So you had these 4 physical cards, and then you had like a special passcode with 4 different individuals that had to be available. So it was a nightmare if you ever had to unlock the thing if it died.
Oh, for sure.
Wow. No, I didn't have to update that, Doc, because I didn't know about it.
Yeah, so. you were blessed not to know about that process. All right. Well, Proton apparently is also no longer cared about by AWS, as it also did not make a keynote. But they have 2 new capabilities for Proton. First of all, a new Proton dashboard to see all the things you haven't deployed in Proton, and AWS CDK support and code build provisioning for AWS Proton, because, of course, infrastructure as code is super important. And since no one in this call has still used Proton, we'll just keep moving.
I only know about Proton because it was on the certification test.
Nice.
And we all said when they announced it, like we like the idea of this, but then none of us used it. So
it just, I mean, they haven't really added enough to it to make it worth the investment of learning how it works and doing all things. So yeah.
Incident Manager from AWS Systems Manager launches incident coordination capabilities for incident response, which is a new capability of the Systems Manager to simplify the way you coordinate the response when an incident is detected by CloudWatch alarm or an Event Bridge event. The new coordination capability allows you to centrally provide updates, monitor actions, and view status from within the Incident Manager console. And then on top of that, they also announced integration with PagerDuty, because you, of course, want to page somebody with a phone call. And so PagerDuty is a popular tool for incident response, and that's available to you now in the Incident Manager as well. So you can get SMS, phone calls, and alerts through PagerDuty.
You didn't include all the Jira Cloud integration they did for this, because
that came later, and I was tired of talking about it. They're actually.
I mean, it's not worth its own story for sure. But
they're in the lightning round actually, so to make fun of later.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
perfect.
If you were excited for Workspace announcements to be on main stage, they are not going to be on main stage either, because they announced all of their new enhancements today, including Amazon Workspace multi-region resilience, certificate-based authentication for Amazon Workspaces, and new general availability of Amazon Workspace integration with SAML 2.0. So that you can now do all of those things. The certificate-based authentication still requires SAML 2.0 to make that work. So the fact that they called that 2 announcements was a little dumb anyways. But the Workspaces multi-region is interesting for BCP reasons. You can now enable multi-region resilience, which gives you a 30-minute RTO using standby workspaces in another AWS region. But it's a little confusing to me, because the article says that they don't replicate your home directory or your data drive to the other region, which is what I would think I would need in a BCP event. So maybe I'm still going to miss on that one, Workspaces. Or that was worded wrong in the press release. I haven't tested this yet, but
that's the whole point of multi-region.
Well, and this is a year behind when it needed to be announced, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is an announcement that would have made a lot of sense for reInvent 2021 and in response to the COVID and with everything else. And so this is late and not full featured.
Can you imagine announcing RDS multi-region? Your database will be up. The data won't be in it.
Right?
Your database will be up.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That is so awesome.
Your health checks will pass. Like, no. Yeah, I don't get it.
All right, let's get to predictions. Let's do it. AWS predictions. This is what you're all here for. So now a couple things here. I happen to be working at a job where we don't use AWS very much, so I'm less connected to the AWS ecosystem than ever before. And so I decided to go crowdsource. And luckily, I asked an OG AWS Slack channel. I asked in the FinUp Slack channel. I asked on Reddit, and I got a ton of answers. And so because everyone was sort of feeling like they didn't have good choices, we have now collaborated on a list all together and made this a true draft. So every person on this call now knows what all of the options are. It's not a surprise, as it has been in the past. And now it's all about the draft order. And who do you want to draft out of this list to hopefully win the mega prize? We will. Dun, dun, dun. So that is the plan here. And Peter, before the show, rolled the dice correctly and rolled the highest number. So he is first on the draft board, Peter. And take your first pick, please.
Ooh, I'm going with adding RDS to savings plans.
Adding RDS savings plans. And why would we want that, Peter?
Well, you can have savings plans for RDS in general so that you can switch instance sizes and types and all that stuff. But what I want even more is to add RDS compute to your compute savings plans so that I just look at my bill, tell Amazon how much I promise to spend with them, and then they give me my discount and all is well.
Yep. And also because we did crowdsource this, we had to give credit to where credit's due. Cap on the OG AWS Slack room is one who gave us adding RDS savings plan, but it was also mentioned by Steve Bisson and Eric Mulatrick on the FinOps Slack channel as well. So this one is very popular with the crowd. People are very excited, hoping for this one to come. So you might give a play on this one. We'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. So that puts me on the board. I am going to go with Acoustic646 from Reddit's choice of new ARM instances. I do think it's time for a new Graviton chip, and I am going with a new Graviton chip as my first pick.
That was my second pick. Damn it.
You think 3 reinvents in a row? I don't know.
I do.
Every reinvent.
I mean, if Apple can do it, why wouldn't Amazon? It makes no sense to me that they wouldn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
But all right, Ryan, that puts you on the board with your first pick.
I am picking one. Where to go? Sorry, from Andrew Fitzgerald off of OG AWS that there will be significant step function workflow increases.
Ooh, significant. And why would he want that?
I mean, it's just one of those limitations for you start putting your state machine in order and you hit those edge cases. And the whole idea behind the express workflows was to increase your massively, horizontal scale out, but you find some really hard limits. And so it reduces the usability of the service.
Jonathan is not here because he is sick with strep throat and can't talk. But he did send in that he wishes he could be here, but he only had one prediction and we didn't put it on the list. So he is predicting that Amazon is going to announce an ARM chip factory or a chip factory of some sort in the US to avoid the China manufacturing problem. I would be shocked on this one, but maybe Jonathan's right. So we'll see. We'll give him a chance. If he gets this one, he wins the whole competition, in my opinion. If you guys agree, I think that's the rule here. If he gets this one, not even here with that, I will give him the whole competition.
If it's an announcement to intend to build, I'm going to say no. But if it's like introducing our new chip factory, then yeah, no, I agree. He wins the entire competition.
I mean, I would take an announcement to build it.
They're not going to build it.
I don't think they're going to build one, but
they're not going to build it. If they build anything, sure, they might do it outside of Taiwan and China, but they're not going to do it here.
Yeah. All right, Peter, that puts you back on the board once again.
I'm going to go Defel from Reddit, GPU support for Fargate.
Ooh, I was definitely, I eyeballing that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Doing some Fargate. Bitcoin mining.
That puts me at a disadvantage. Where do I want to go here? This list is very good.
I know one that you want. There's a wish list item in there that you've been asking for forever. I'm going with, if you don't find it.
I'm going to go for Cognito 2.0 because their current efforts of Cognito are horrendous. And this came from Siphon on Reddit, and then when he wrote it down, I was like, "Yes, that is brilliant." Auth0 got bought by Okta. Okta got hacked. It's the perfect time to come out with a real Cognito solution that actually works, and doesn't cause massive pain and endless forum threads of suffering and doom. And even on OG AWS, when someone says, "I'm trying to use a Cognito," the first answer is always, "Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
just go somewhere else." So,
why do you hate yourself?
Yeah. Do you like pain?
Yeah. All right, Ryan, that puts you on the board for your second pick.
All right. I'm actually going with one that I tried to provide on the list myself, but I don't have edit access to the thing because I was part of a crowd. I believe that their major announcement is going to be some sort of Salesforce killer. This is something that we talked about it in an earlier show. Some of the Connect announcements just seem like they're pointing in that direction.
That would be a massive blow to. I mean, I don't think it would be good, but it'd be a massive blow to Salesforce and like to the partnership that they have. So that would be fascinating. We will see. All right, Peter, that puts you back on the board for your third and final pick.
So first off, your wish list item, which you probably didn't pick, or you may still pick, but you probably didn't pick because it's not actually going to happen, would be data transfer price reductions. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that for you in case you want it because you have been so excited about it for so many years. And I'm going to go with one that absolutely will not be called, but I thought it was so funny I wanted to give credit to it, which is Robert Martin from FinUp Slack, the new MI6 extra large family of EC2, only allowed to be used by British spies.
That's
pretty good.
Brilliant.
Yeah. They were quite good. All of Robert's were great, or quite good actually. So we should mention some of the other ones here too in a minute.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, that does leave data transfer pricing for me, which I am not taking because I am not. I am not
a sucker.
Not a sucker on this one. I want it so badly, but this is not the year.
No.
And so I'm actually going with Glenn at OG AWS, and he's predicting it's going to be a meh conference, only with niche announcements, nothing for the general market, and no additional cost savings for customers due to profitability needs at AWS. I'm gonna go the downer route. I feel like I'm betting on the opposite side. They're just gonna announce nothing exciting.
Yeah, that's the don't pass. You took the don't pass line.
Yeah.
At the craps table.
Yep, I did. I took it. And that, Ryan, puts you on your third and final pick as well.
I think that salsa is too big of a buzzword, and services have finally had enough time to respond and develop products after the SolarWinds event that they are going to announce some sort of salsa enablement or visualization, something. And so I don't know if that's going to be in the form of their artifact service, or which one's the artifact service? I don't know.
I would just call it Code X, one of the Code family products.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be some enablement there.
Nice. So you pulled two that we didn't have from the crowdsourcing. So well done.
What's amazing is I did that like while we were getting started for the show. Before I knew the draft format, which, and it's two more than I usually come prepared with.
So. Yeah, no, it's great. It's well done. So yeah, if you guys would, credit your people in your findings, if you did a person, I will do mine. And Peter, you could do yours real quick. That way they're called out in the show notes effectively. That would be great. So.
Have you been waiting months and months to hire your new AWS, GCP, or Azure architect, only to have them be poached at the 11th hour by a startup with a juice bar? Initiatives stalled because you're having trouble hiring? Well, I have a simple solution: Foghorn Consulting. Foghorn Consulting provides top-notch cloud engineers to the world's most innovative companies and can be burning down your DevOps and cloud backlogs as soon as next week. Foghorn certified AWS, GCP, and Azure professionals are armed with infrastructure as code, and from day one will be designing performant, optimized cloud-native or hybrid environments that deliver on the promise of cloud. Their FogOps solution even provides on-demand cloud engineering to augment your existing teams. Visit www.foghornconsulting.com or send an email to cloudtalentnow@foghornconsulting.com and tell them the CloudPod sent you. Your dedicated FogOps team is with you for the long haul, and they bring their own juice.
All right, well, we do need a tiebreaker. And of course, our tiebreaker is how many total announcements are going to be announced on the main stages across the Adams, Lipsky, and the Warner keynote. We will not count the ones from Monday Night Live. We will not count the ones from the Wednesday night Swami announcement. It's just those two. We've always counted those two. And so the question is, how many total on-stage announcements will be mentioned by one of those two individuals, Adam or Werner? And this one goes to Ryan first because, as the true rules state, The person who went last in the draft gets to pick the first tiebreaker number.
Yeah, no, this is the only one I want to be the other direction around. Yeah, because I would love to $1 this one. I really would. And
it is Price is Right rules, so that makes sense.
No, you can go over. It's closest.
I don't know. The magic number is going to be it's the same as the year. 22. I'm going to say 22 announcements.
All right. I'm going to go with 15. I think 15 is a good number from myself. And Peter, that leaves you with your final tiebreaker.
I have to choose. That means basically I have to choose 14 or 23. I mean, if I'm smart.
Right.
And I guess going with the total number of choices, 1 to 14, there's only 14 chances to win. 23 to infinity, there's a lot of chances to win. I'm going to go 23.
There you go. All right. And I think, in fairness for Jonathan, if they announce 1 and it's the Arm Chip Factory, that's the one. That's the one he gets.
Yeah, then I'll buy him. Then I'll buy him a friggin' steak dinner at Fancy Pants Place. Where is it?
Yeah.
Nice. Where's that place? Gary Danko. How about Gary Danko?
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. Well, some of the other items that we did not pick, not because they weren't good, they were all good. But Robert Martin, of course, we'll start with his FinUp Slack contributions, and some of these are jokes, and some of them are real. I think one he really wants is the CUR delivered as a queryable database rather than a set of files.
Yeah,
which would be like BigQuery. That'd be really nice.
Everyone wants this.
Yeah. And as a stretch goal to that, he'd like it to reconcile with Cost Explorer, which there's no chance that part happens. But the first part, yes. The second part, no.
Yeah.
He'd like all 10,000 people laid off by Amazon to be rehired by AWS's FinOps people, which would be great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he had the MI6 one we already used. And then he had Inelastic Beanstalk.
Beautiful.
And he thought there would be a new t-shirt. So
I think he's got that one. I think he's got that one. I think he'll get a point for that.
Yeah. And then you already had about Lambda limit, step function increases. Andrew Fitzgerald also had Lambda limit increases. So that's there. And then David Shepard actually had one that I was really liking, which was ECS task definition revision lifecycles, or the ability to even delete them. And then AWS chimed in and said, yeah, we're really sorry this is taking so long. And here's our GitHub link to what they're doing on it, which was really interesting because they gave you a bunch of insights on how ECS worked. But it was very clear that wasn't being announced at reInvent. So I quickly fell out of love with it.
Yeah.
Deborah Hawkins at OG AWS said ABAC for S3 buckets based on bucket tags, not just object tags.
Oh, please. They need this so bad. Yeah.
Yep. Brian Scanlan of OG AWS said Aurora OpenSearch, which is an open search but without coupled storage and CPU. Andrew Fitzgerald at OG AWS said ABAC for SQS, which that would also be very nice.
I thought this was announced.
Maybe it was. I didn't vet this list.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And then on the Reddit thread, there's a bunch of contributions from different people. Acoustic646, which I got the new ARM instances from, which I would already come up already, but I give him credit. Lambda duration increases. Serverless Aurora V2 that scales to 0. Better EKS add-on and general AWS integration. More open search offerings and native add-ons from AWS, including one-click integration to other AWS services. And then he asked for data transfer price reductions, which that's a fool's errand. Yeah. And even people in the Reddit thread were laughing at him when he wrote that down.
Not this year, man. Not any year, but really not this year.
Really not this year. Spicy Pixel on Reddit had enabled TCP_UDP network load balancers being provisioned from EKS or dual stack TCP UDP load balancers. Apparently UDP is something people really want, because also an Eternal Flame on Reddit said he'd like private link support protocols besides TCP, especially UDP there as well.
I think you can do this. Private link is backed by network load balancers, and network load balancers support UDP. So I believe that you can set this up. So I don't know.
But on the front end, though, I think on the back end you support UDP, but on the front end, I'm not sure. That's part I wasn't clear on either.
I might be confusing private link with private endpoint.
Yeah, you might.
Because I can never get those two straight. Yeah, never
mind. Tester4360 on Reddit said EKS free tier, which I am actually surprised EKS is not part of the free tier. So
there's no free tier? That is surprising.
I think the free tier for containers is all ECS right now. Real Feeder for Reddit said SageMaker vector database, SageMaker experiments of V2 with a better UI, something equivalent to GCP Cloud Runner that scales to 0. Lambda GPU support, which I think is where Peter got that from. Data lineage solution, and then an open search serverless solution was he asked for. KGun IT on Reddit said Amazon Linux 2022 GA. That's probably not a main stage. It probably happens in a breakout, but yes, I see that happening. An admission to the demise of ops work, which that'll never happen.
Nope.
Initiative known K6155 would like open source Isengard, which Isengard, for those who are in the know, is the account management tool that AWS uses for internal employees. And since many of us have built that, they would like to see something similar.
You know what? So I'm gonna, because I think that's very similar to my prediction for Salesforce Killer. So I think if initiative known 6155, I think we can co-sign on that one.
You think that's the type? Because you're thinking a CRM solution would be like a customer CRM. This is account management, which would be
like AWS account management, right?
Oh, is that what that is? Okay, then I was thinking account management as far as customer.
At least I believe that's what my understanding of Isengard is.
Yeah, I don't know.
And actually, I would even be happy just to see a reference architecture to how they built theirs, because we all build our own AMT solutions, and I'd love to see what their best practices are, even if they don't offer it as a service.
No kidding. Yeah, I didn't even know. Why would they? Never mind. Yeah.
Group by multiple value on Cost Explorer, he'd like, and implement memory usage on Trusted Advisor, which, if they did on Trusted Advisor, could they possibly please do it in CloudWatch first without having to do a bunch of extra work? Adventure Physics 39 had data dictionary, data catalog enhancements. And then Ashish Korala from Reddit said better integration or any integration between CloudFront and KMS. And a proper implementation of KCL in major non-Java languages instead of this multi-daemon crap, which I don't know what that means, but I get it. It's personal pain that person has, and I respect him or her. Person 6785 on Reddit said fair IPAM pricing because IPv6 is going to cause bankruptcy. Which, that was a good one. I chuckled.
No, that's good. Yeah.
And then when I was doing my research before we decided to crowdsource instead, I was looking at Cloud Native Foundation, and I thought Hexa looks like a potential new Amazon service at some point in the future. And I think I might have said that last year too, but I did not use it in my own because I didn't have high confidence. So there you go.
I misread that first. I thought it was AWS implementation of Alexa. And I'm like, wait, what?
What?
Again, not this year.
All right. And that's it for our AWS part of the show. We have a quick set of Azure stories we'll get through here as quickly as possible. And then we do have one last lightning round before reInvent. So first up, general availability of Azure Synapse Link for SQL. This allows you to SQL automate the extract and movement of data from your relational operations data store from both Azure SQL DB and SQL Server 2022 to Azure Synapse Analytics. And if you listen to the last episode of our show, we talked about being on the bus with Oracle and SQL Server. And, this is sort of the equivalent of that too. Okay. Mm-hmm. Next up was general availability of DR secondary free with SQL Server on Azure virtual machines. So if you're using pay-as-you-go account, you now have high availability secondary and DR secondary servers for SQL Server on VMs and no additional license cost, which everyone who didn't have a pay-as-you-go account already had. So you're welcome. And apparently the NBA and Microsoft team up to transform fan experiences with cloud application modernization. So expect to see some new NBA Microsoft tie-ins and all the commercials for all your favorite NBA games, unless it's the Warriors, who are sponsored very much by Google Cloud, who screwed this up. So bravo.
I don't know. I'm liking some of the stuff I'm seeing. Like F1 has got a big partnership with AWS for doing statistics, and different sports teams are going different ways. And so I kind of like all the statistics and,
it's fun
and stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, my NFL games, they, on Thursday night, of course, it's on Prime, so they use AWS's metrics quite a bit. But then even on the Saturday and Sunday night games, the Sunday day games and the Sunday night games, they use AWS Analytics as well for pulling out stats and things going on in the league. So it's kind of cool. Nice to people are like, oh, the AWS thing that's I say I work with AWS. They're like, oh, the thing on NFL football. Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. So my family is even more confused with what I do now.
Yeah.
All right, Peter. That time for one last lightning round.
Amazon Workspaces announced version 2.0 of Workspaces streaming protocol.
Because all of us care so much about version 1.0, we're super excited about 2.0.
Still confused with what this is. This is AppStream? Never mind.
No, it's just how it connects. It's a special TCP stack that they built for making streaming less latent.
AWS Service Management Connector now supports provisioning AWS Service Catalog, Justin's favorite.
No, this is even better, right? Because this is connecting one service catalog to another service catalog.
Yeah, this is putting it into Jira.
Oh, this is connect. I'm sorry. There was another line there. That supports provisioning AWS Service Catalog products in Atlassian's Jira Service Management Cloud. Nice.
I mean, of all the places I want to output a service catalog, it's definitely going to be in Jira.
Right? Yeah.
AWS Security Hub now supports bidirectional integration via AWS Service Management connector for Atlassian's Jira Service Management Cloud.
Yeah. So now when your service management, request doesn't work or doesn't exist, you have an easier way to create a Jira ticket using the Cloud Connector.
See, what you do is you use the service management connector for Service Catalog to provision an unsecure server that then Security Hub picks up and then opens a bidirectional ticket back to Jira, which then you could then have that launch a new server that's even more unsecure. Like you could just go for days on this. Like you could create.
Maybe that's certificate provisioning workflow. I like it.
Yeah.
Do they already do this with ServiceNow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So just adding Jira.
Yeah, the service desk component of Jira specifically. Yeah.
Because all the ServiceNow people were like, yay, and all the Jira people were like, why don't you love us? And then they gave it to them too. So
yeah. All right. Maybe next time we'll get it for Redmine.
I mean, the thing is, the people who use Jira Service Desk are people who can't afford ServiceNow, so they're just jealous anyways.
Yeah. Or how about RT? RT deserves it.
RT, that's old school pullback. One of my first IT jobs, I had to implement RT and Perl CPAN. That's where I learned I hate fucking Perl.
Yes, Perl. You remember the name of their FAQ manager?
RTFM. I do.
Nice.
All right. Amazon NAT Gateway now allows you to select private IP address for network address translation.
I mean, if you really are this particular about your private IP address to be picked, so you can put it in your firewall rules, maybe you should think about a different way to do firewall rules.
Yeah, I kind of go both ways on this one because it's how big are your public subnets where this is a problem, where because you don't want to expand the rules to all of them. But I got nothing funny. I kind of get this and I kind of don't. Yeah.
Announcing the new applications widget on the AWS console home.
Which even the author of this article did not refuse to write AWS system. This headline should be announcing the new application widget for AWS Simple Systems Manager Application Manager. And even the author of this post could not put themselves to it. They're like, nope, I'm not doing it. It's just a new application widget. Sorry, I'm out. Yeah,
nice.
Give the author of the blog post a point.
That rant gets you in first place, by the way. All right, here we go. Announcing preview of the AWS SDK for SAP ABAP.
You're just saying letters now.
Yeah, you're just making something.
SAP ABAP.
Yes, I love this again in the whoever wrote this. Through the set of simple ABAP classes, the AWS SDK for SAP ABAP simplifies the complexities around API connectivity, data formatting, and security, so ABAP developers can focus on innovating with AWS services using fewer lines of codes than ever before. Like, yeah, okay, you're just throwing stuff out there. No one knows what that meant.
No idea.
I think if it's ABAP, it should be SAP, and if it's SAP, it should be ABAP. That's all I'm going to say. Make up your mind. Either say the letters or read the letters. Don't mix it up. All right, Justin, you got it.
Yeah.
Your ridiculous rant on the applications widget takes the cake.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll see you guys the week after reInvent to give you all the news and what we got right on our prediction show, because we are doing live streaming from our homes of the reInvent keynotes. Peter will be on site. We're gonna call into him at some point during the live streaming to see how it's going. Is it crowded? Is it not crowded? We're not really sure when that's going to happen, Peter. Probably right after Adam finishes up, so you'll be trying to walk out of the thing. We're going to need you to install the Riverside app on your phone so we can just do that. But
I think it's cute that you think I'm not going to watch it from my hotel room.
Yeah, I know. That's true. But I did see, and we can talk about it later because it's a press thing, but I did see you got some special press perks. So, congratulations to Peter.
Very nice.
And we'll see you guys after reInvent. Have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see how the crystal balls worked out. See you then.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
And that is The Week in Cloud. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Foghorn Consulting. Subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts and tweet us your feedback at #TheCloudPod. Or join our Slack channel, go to our website, thecloudpod.net for sign-up instructions.